Tom Vassel's top 100 games of all time. Z-R-C. Damn, Healy. Oh, really? It's top 100 games.
Hey, everybody, I'm Tom Vassell.
I'm Z Garcia. What's up, everybody?
Sam Healy, what's up, folks?
And we're alive!
Yay! I'll take alive. I like it.
All right, so we're continuing on with our top 100 games of all time, and we are finishing the bottom third, basically, 80 to 71. I have some fairly light games on my list this time.
Me
but
too.
at least one new game.
Think.
I'm sorry, I should have said I have some Z games on my list.
Yeah? Oh, that's exciting. I like that. Sam's probably got some Z games on his list.
I got 4 brand new games on this segment.
Okay, we're expecting you to come back here with some glory.
What?
Come on.
Come on, man.
Don't
What?
turn back into Sam, or the show's all ruined.
These are good games. All 100 of my games are good games. I don't know what y'all talking about.
We're about to find out.
That's
Let's
right.
get going.
Number 80.
All right, so my number 80 is one that actually fell, I believe,
Off the shelf.
from last time I did this list. I used to play it a lot. Don't play it as much as I used to, but youth group still enjoys it a lot, so I do pull it out every once in a while. There, we're talking about Cash and Guns, second edition.
Yeah.
So it's.
I wonder if we're at the point where we can just say cash and guns now.
It's still called that, though, right? I mean,
Yeah, it's called second edition. So
okay.
I mean, it's always good to have the delineator in there as well. So, Cash and Guns 2.0 is an improvement upon the original edition, and I like it a lot better. I like the graphic design a little bit better. I like the streamline of play a little bit better than the first one. Just everything about it makes it easier to teach, and it's a lot of fun. You get to point guns at people without them really getting mad at you. I mean, unless you can pick on the same one person.
is that something that you're like, oh, finally, I can check that box off?
Yes. I mean, come on. If you point a gun at somebody, usually it's pretty threatening.
I wasn't planning on doing it.
Well, I don't own any weapons. Don't get me wrong.
I mean, I
but
do have an arsenal. Don't get
yeah, I
me
mean,
wrong.
I don't drive around with a machete in my
All I know is I
trunk
get guns
either.
pointed
Who
at
does
me.
that?
I don't know. But anyway, this is a great game. It's very fun, very lighthearted, and it's a pretty thematic experience as well. So that's why it made my list. Number 80, Cash and Guns 2.0.
My number 80 is published by about 7 different publishers. Also, it's public domain, and that is what?
Tires, dice?
Werewolf.
Werewolf.
Werewolf, and I probably most of the time I play the Ultimate Werewolf from Bezier Games, but there's a new one with coins, which I really would like to get because I like that idea of having a coin that won't get all bent up as cards. But
Well, and Andrew Looney had that strange one that you hang around your neck and you look into a thing and it tells you what your roll is in there, like a little amulet-looking thing, and then you just
Yeah.
let it go and it just drapes around your neck. Yeah, it's kind of cool.
that one did not take off as well.
It did not, but it's a neat idea. Definitely, no one can see your roll. You know.
But I am going to try to get the coin one at some point.
Cool.
But the Werewolf or Mafia, a lot of people know it as Mafia. I really like it. I know that you say games like Resistance and stuff have replaced it, and I do like those games too. I like a lot of social deduction, but there's just something about Werewolf that's the arguments that it's a little flawed, right? Especially the
is.
first night, someone dies, they don't have a chance to play the game, but I know, but it's still for me. I don't mind that because it's still entertaining to watch the game. I have gone up and watched many games of Werewolf that I was not involved with and had a great time. And then you can also go play another game if you want. But Werewolf is just really shows human psyche at its best or worst. Anyway, I really still enjoy it, so it's on my list. Werewolf.
All right, my number
Probably on
80.
your list.
Nope.
My number 80 is a very, very, very new game. This is almost like so new it's cheating new. It's Queen Domino.
Whoa, wait. Did we make the list after you played Queen Domino?
Yes.
Yes.
I haven't touched it since we started. the top
Wow,
100.
Queen Domino's on your list?
Queen Domino's on my list,
I
and
wonder
I
if King
would
Domino's
not.
higher.
King Domino would not have made my list. It wouldn't have made my list whether Queen Domino had come out or not. It's a fun game, but it's not. It doesn't have the replayability I think to really place it on a list like this. But Queen Domino I think does. I think Queen Domino is a lot more tactically rich. I think it has a lot of different sort of paths to victory, and depending on which of those special tiles you take early on in the game, that's going to inform not just the tiles you want to draft, but where you want to try to get them placed, which was not a thing at all in King Domino. You want to make big groups. That's it. That was the only way to win. You know?
Yeah.
And now sometimes you actually want to break those groups up. You want to go for the castles. You want to go for the little knights. You know, there's a lot of sort of different stuff going on now, and it's at a point that I can see myself bringing this back to the table over and over again. So tile laying game, Queen Domino, very fun game, is my number 80.
I think for some people, Queen Domino is going to be a Carcassonne killer.
I could see that.
You know, has some similarities in just you're building the grid.
I guess. Maybe.
We'll know if there's an expansion next year, and then 2 more after that.
And then something to let you launch the queen.
Queen catapult.
Queen catapult. There you go.
Number 79.
My 79 is a new one from last year. Well, last year it was 91, so it's moved up on the list, and that is because it is turning into one of my favorite abstract games there is, and I know this because I stuck it into Dice Tower Essentials, and that is Onitama.
Oh, cool.
Onitama just keeps, it's just so fun. I mean, you put it out there, it's so simple. There's just move some pieces, capture, you know, you have those 5 cards. Each game feels different. The expansion was nice that it added more cards to the mix, right? So that there's, I don't know what the combinations are of the
a lot
5
now.
different
Yeah, there's
cards,
quite a
right? But
bit.
there's sometimes you'll run into a weird combination where it seems like all the pieces are shifting on one side. I don't mind that. Then you have to just kind of work your way through that. But either way, the game's like 10 minutes. Chess, you know, sometimes you get in chess and you're like, all right, it's time to work for a while. You know, Onitama is faster. I know you can play speed chess, but Onitama, you can take your time and think about your moves, and yet it's still a quick game.
Right.
Yeah.
And every game feels different. I really, really like it.
It's one of those categories of games that you can like teach it in 30 seconds. And then after you're done playing it, you're like, let's try again.
A minute to learn, a
minute.
lifetime to master.
Okay, I didn't coin that phrase, but
Othello makers are about to call you up. That's ours. All right, my 79 is Scythe.
Ooh.
Scythe
Wow.
from Jamie Stegmaier and Stonemaier Games is it's definitely a Euro game that looks like a war game.
That's true.
And it has the threat of combat in it, but really combat happens maybe twice in the whole game, if at all. And it's a game of land grab. It's a game which is beautifully produced. Let's just take everything else off the table and start there. And you guys know, and Sam definitely feels this way as well, that I'm a sucker for games that are pretty. This thing is stunningly gorgeous. In fact, it's a game that started from the artwork, and then Stegmaier built a game around it. And that idea, I would be, if anyone told me, yeah, I found some artwork and then I made a game about it, oh boy.
Yeah, you're right. Because normally we'd be like, no.
That doesn't sound like a good
you
idea.
just did things backwards.
Right, but this man can pull it off, and indeed he did. Scythe is a really, really good game, very solid game, very engaging, lots going on, and I was not sure I was going to like it the first time I played it, but I really did. It's a great Euro game. Scythe, my 79.
I just played it again last week, and it did not make my top 100 here, but I'm telling you, it's
Great
inching
game.
up. I could see it hitting my top 100 eventually.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. All right, my number 79 is a game that I play with my kids a lot. My youngest, Aiden. And it's one of those games where, you know, usually when you play games with your kids, you kind of have to shift gears. You have
So
to,
it's a racing game.
No. You have to shift gears because it's not about, you know, usually the kids' games are not very deep mechanically. They're not very, you know, hard to wrap your head around. You just kind of have to I'm just going to have fun with this and just goof around and have a great time. This is my favorite game to do that with my kids. Ice Cool is my number 79.
Wow.
Oh, nice,
And it is
nice.
a great little dexterity-ish kind of game because you have to get good at flicking those little penguins around, and you actually can get good at it, but the kids are still competitive because they can just do this and just not even know what they're doing, and it hits all the right angles.
It
and
makes that amazing
spins and jumps over, and they're like, what did I just do? And you're like, you just kicked my butt at this stupid game, you know. But it's a great,
grounded.
it's a great, not playing this game for 3 months. No, it's a great game. It's very fun, very enjoyable. Looks great on the board as well. So that's my number 79, Ice Cool.
Number 78.
All right, my 78. Let's take a look at what that is. It is an abstract game from a series I very much enjoy of abstract games, and there will be more of these later on. This is Devon.
I was going to guess, but all right.
Oh,
So this is the first one that's made it on the list?
I think so, yes. Devon. And
Is it the last one?
I just said that.
Oh, it is
That
the
it's
last
not.
one.
That
But
it's
it's
not.
not.
That there will be more.
I don't listen when you're
I
talking.
know. Devon is, like I said, a very clean, basic abstract game. White pieces, black pieces, and then you try to win in whatever,
And red pieces.
There's a twist. There's a couple of twists. This is a stacking game in which the size of the stack you've built is power. So you want to have taller stacks. However, you also have to move that far when you move. Exactly that far, not up to that much, which means your larger pieces are also hard to maneuver because the board has a very strange shape. It's sort of an elongated hexagon. And it's clever. It's the designer is very good. Chris Berm is very good at taking concepts we are familiar with and slightly messing with them enough to sort of make you think, okay, I can't really use what I know about this style of game on this contraption. And then there's those red pieces that if you become disconnected from them, they're like the life. If anything becomes detached from those, they're removed from the board, and so you have these amazing moments where half the board just goes away. And it's a game that finds a way to have an abstract game contain drama. It's kind of crazy, but I really enjoy it. Devon is this high on the list because I don't like the setup in it. The setup's a little long. You have to go back and forth putting pieces out, and I don't know.
Nah, just throw them out. Who cares?
Yeah. I mean, you're supposed to do that, and I'm not good enough to know how strategically important that is. But that's why it's where it is. Devon is my 78.
So you done now?
I'm done talking.
Okay, good.
Samuel,
Thank
I'm
you.
done talking.
All right, that's great.
You're the one who put abstract games on your list last time.
Well, my number 78 is actually an abstract
Get
game,
out.
but
What
it,
is going?
Is it also Devon?
but it is no. It is the kind of abstract strategy games that I enjoy, where
Piece,
there
punch
is
piece.
actually theme
Chess
and
boxing.
thematic inclusion and I don't know
Then it's not abstract, is it?
prettiness. No, it is actually abstract, but at its core. But Raptor is my number 78.
Ooh, yeah.
Raptor is my number 78.
Actually, I don't feel like Raptor's that abstract. That theme, I think, comes really far out of that
At its
game.
core, you are basically simply moving your pieces around on a board,
No, I get that,
and
but
you
I
have
feel
to
like
do
the
it in
theme
such a way
works.
that is better. Well, yeah, the theme is absolutely inclusive. I mean, that's what makes the game fun, in my opinion. If it were just black and white pieces moving around on a board, trying to get my pieces off the board, and you're trying to capture my piece, that would be boring. But the card play, having to outthink your opponent with the card you have to play, and then if you don't, having to use the card that you did play to its best ability, that's what makes this game really rock for me. And I really enjoy the theme of scientists against dinosaurs. It really works. I had a great theme.
scientists.
Was not actually its original theme.
Right.
It was originally like a Lord of the Rings theme or something like that, if
Forget
I
what they've
remember
said,
correctly. But it was not originally a scientist versus dinosaurs, but it really, really stuck, and it really works well. It's a very fun game. My number 78, Raptor.
My number 78 is my favorite Klaus Teuber game. He's best known for Catan, but that did not make my list. It is Domain.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Domain was a reworking of an earlier game he did called Lowenherz. But Domain was the updated version, and Domain now is, 18 years old or something? It's not, maybe 2004 might be when it came out.
Lowenherz always made me think about that German beer, Lowenbrau. I don't know why. It just looks the same.
Also, it did not look good at all, that game. Domain looks a lot better. In fact, Domain's components is one of the few games that looks like it could have come out today, really. It has all these little walls you're building and knights, and the system of Domain is what I really like. You play a card, you pay to play that card. You don't have any money to play cards, you then discard a card and get money. But when you discard a card, you are setting that up for someone else to draw that card. And it is mean, and I like it. You're building your own little area, your domain, and then you got to be careful. You might build this long, stretchy thing, and someone just cuts it off, and that whole section's gone. Really good game. Highly recommend it. Domain.
Number 77.
All right, my 77 is a game.
Wow.
I really hope so. It's an abstract as well, actually. This is weird. Okay. This is Hive, a
Unfun.
game sort of inspired by chess in many ways, which has no board, and you play with hexagonal pieces. You are attempting to surround your opponent's queen bee. This one's been around for quite a while now. It's a very well-regarded game. It's one that's gotten a lot of attention in that sort of abstract circles out there, you know, as being something that carries a lot of strategy and weight. And I do enjoy it. I've never gotten into it, you know, in a very serious manner like that. I would never go to a tournament for this stuff, you know, but I do enjoy it. I've enjoyed when I was teaching. I enjoyed teaching it and showing it to the students in class. And people tend to get it. And the whole animal theme does make it a little bit easier to assign powers to pieces, which I thought was very clever as well. I enjoy it. It's simple. It's pretty straightforward. It lets you play anywhere. The pieces are, the ones I have anyway, are the Bakelite pieces, nice chunky plastic, very tactile, very fun, interesting, play anywhere experience. So, my 77, Hive.
I don't know what it is.
Buzzing
You and I
round
normally
your
like jive on all our. We like pretty close to the same kind of abstract games, and I just don't like Hive.
No? Okay.
I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the lack of a board. I need structure.
I'm a queen.
I like that. I like that it sort of can take whatever shape it wants.
Buzzing around your wife.
You good?
Yeah, go.
My number 77 is Libertalia. Really like Libertalia. This is. You don't like Libertalia? Oh, I thought you were about to
I
do
was
the
thinking of
vomiting thing.
Liberté.
Oh,
And,
that's also a good game.
Then I remembered that you put Leah on the end of it
all right.
instead
Well,
of
I'm
A.
glad you listened to the whole word. Libertalia, a pirate game. I'm a big fan of the pirate theme anyway, but this is, for me, the game that replaces Citadels to some degree.
Interesting.
I really do like Citadels a lot, but Libertalia has a different set of cards every time. You know, you have these 9 cards, everyone has the same cards. Everyone's going to play some cards, but you keep 3 back that you'll then use in round 2. So in round 2, everyone has slightly different hands. And it's just this, when is someone going to play that? You're always like, okay, I'm going to play this card this turn, but Z might play that card. All right, I'll switch it to this one. No, I don't think. There's that constant trying to outguess the other person. A lot of interactiveness in the game. You know, I played this, I just killed your pirate that you put out. I really enjoy it. That's Libertalia.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Number 77 is, and I'm wondering if you looked at my segment when you made your segment, but I know that's not possible.
Segment? Like your list?
Yeah, because
Yes, I
this
did.
is this is a crossover in this actual segment.
Is
You
it
already
Hive?
said this.
No way.
You have actually said this one already.
Scythe?
That is
Has to
correct.
be Scythe. The other one,
My
these two,
number
he's like-
70.
Well, I know I didn't put Devon on the list.
So my number 77 is Scythe, and for all the reasons that Z said, I really enjoy this game. The aesthetic appeal is off the charts with the artwork.
Yeah.
I love the player boards that have the indentations
Oh, yeah.
that actually just where the piece just sits there, and you don't
Yes,
have to
every game
constantly
should do that.
worry about shifting off or anything like that. I love that. This would probably be higher on my list if it were not so deceptively non-confrontational.
Yes.
You look at the board and you're like, oh, we gonna fight. We gonna fight. And then there's like one battle
Yes.
in the game, and you're like,
It's just sort of a means to an end, really. It's not.
yes.
It's not.
And most of the time, fighting is not your best option.
Right,
You
right.
do it when you really can't do anything else, and you're kind of scraping to get something.
Sometimes, you know, the last game I played, someone had a big pile of resource, and it was like, hey, whoop, whoop, come get me.
Well, I mean, yeah, you paint a target on your back with a bunch of resources, yeah. But more often than not, fighting is really not your best option. And not that I have to have that confrontation in order to enjoy a game, because I still really enjoy Scythe. It's just you look at the game and you think confrontation, then you play the game and there's very little confrontation. So I really enjoy it, but it probably would be higher if it weren't a little tricksy there. But my number 77, Scythe.
Number 76.
All right, my number 76 is, well, it's called so many different names. The one I have is Trom Fabric, but there's Hollywood Blockbuster, Fabric de Trom. They're all different. Dream Factory.
Garbage.
Garbage? Yeah, well, you know
Reiner
what?
Knizia's Money Machine.
This game would be in print today
If it were
if
good.
it wasn't so hard to.
Fans on fire.
Come on, man. That was a welcome mat, bruh.
This would be
He
in
even
print if it
paused.
if it wasn't so hard, because the thing is, in this game, it's a really good mechanism. You're making your movies, and you need certain tiles. You're like set collection, and when you bid, and I really like this, you're bidding with contracts, and you pay them to the other players. So if you lose every auction, eventually you're going to be like, I'm winning this one,
Right.
and I like that. The problem is that the game was originally printed with these old movie actors that no one, well, not, I shouldn't say no one knew, but most people don't know, and movies and such. And then the newer ones were parodies, which just doesn't have the same thing. I pasted my copy up so that it has newer movie actors, and that's a lot of fun because it adds that fun theme.
I enjoy that version of the game.
Right, I mean, and then it's a fun
it.
thing like, oh, I put Jim Carrey in King Kong. That's a, it's a totally different movie directed by Quentin Tarantino.
That's funny. That's
Right.
actually
But that happens, and that's fun, but it's not just that, right? The game itself I also like. I really like that auction mechanism. I wish this could come in, but just it's hard because to get all those movies and actors and all that, the rights would be astronomical. So you're stuck with either doing the parodies or doing old stuff that's public domain, which is unfortunate because it's a really good game.
Yeah, the auction mechanic doesn't really do it for me. It's fine, but it's that you know what you just talked about, putting Jim Carrey in King Kong and having him directed by
The Farley brothers
Tarantino.
directed
Yeah,
Silence of the Lambs.
Exactly. I mean, that's what makes the game fun for me. So just playing a basic core version, it's like, oh, this is boring. You just can't pull it around. So that's why I didn't even.
It's funny though, even my pasted up version though would not. My pasted up version's like 10 years old now, so the movies and the
That's true,
actors are
right.
starting to fade.
Yeah.
Play with a 20-year-old, they're like, who are these people?
Yeah, exactly.
What do you got?
All right, my number 76 is one of the new games that just made the list this year, and it is a dice game where you are trying to change the different sides of your dice. It's brand new. It's a beautifully produced game. That is Dice Forge.
Wow,
And
really?
Yes, Dice Forge. I really enjoy it. I like. They did what Rattlebones tried to do much better. And when I first heard about Rattlebones, I really thought, man, that's a cool idea. But then it just kind of, when we played through it, it was like, wow, this is really a roll and move game with this little gimmicky thing of popping out the pieces, different sides of your dice, and it just kind of, it was a disappointment. So when I heard about Dice Forge, well, first of all, I saw Dice Forge first, and I was like, whoa, that game looks cool.
It does look good. That's a good table presence.
And so I was like, man, I got to try that game out. I saw it at Dice Tower Con the first time. I walked in one of the halls, and it was right there, one of the corner tables. And so when we tried it out here at the studio, I really enjoyed it. So I kind of had the boost, I guess, of having that aesthetic appeal. Rattlebones had not a very good aesthetic appeal, and it kind of had a creepy vibe to it.
That's true.
Of the carny.
Come play at the carnival,
vibe.
children.
Come on, children. You know.
Retheme it to it.
Yeah, it's-
Sell it. Yeah.
Probably closer something like It This Way Comes, but
Okay.
But
Needful things, though.
Dice Forge is a really great game. I really do enjoy that mechanic of changing the different faces of your dice. I really enjoy it, and they did it very well on this one. So that's my number 76.
wow, I didn't expect that.
Yeah,
Dice
yeah.
Forge.
That's I like that game a lot. It didn't make my top 100, but it's a really good game.
Cool. My 76 is a party game, really a party game that's taken off and has made quite a bit of money, I assume, but has had quite a few expansions.
Cards Against Humanity.
Yeah, baby. No, it's Dixit.
Oh, Dixit, yes.
Dixit is a game that, much like Sam, when he first heard about Rattlebones, when I first heard about a game that was just large strange illustrated cards. That's pretty much the components of the game. And then the premise is you have to tell people what your card was, but not too much. Like you need to sort of hint at what's on the card. It's a clever idea. It's one that's attempted. Other games have attempted to replicate the idea. No one as successfully, I think, because Dixit has the gorgeous artwork to back it up, and it's a breezy game. It's real easy to play. I've played with my family plenty of times. They really enjoy it. You know, they're like, "Oh, bring that pictures game, the painting it," and so it's a nice, relaxing kind of atmosphere when you play this. You know, you're sitting down. It's very the stakes are low. You know, when you're playing, you get to look at all these pretty pieces of artwork. I just really enjoy it. You know, for a night that's a low key get together, and that's the idea. Dixit just hits it out of the park for me.
Another game that kind of did the same thing, but not with pictures, with sculpting. Was that Bamboleo or something like that? Where you had to sculpt something, but it had to be just descriptive enough to where you
You're talking about the Klaus Teuber that then got made into...
That was Barbarossa.
That's what it was.
the one, yeah. And then
Has a
they
similar
Puzzle.
idea.
Clozo was the
yes,
remaking of
Clozo,
it.
right.
A similar idea.
A
but-
little bit. This one's just a
also a
little
word
faster
game.
and cleaner.
Yeah, well, I didn't
obviously.
like getting the grease from the clay on your fingers and then getting it all over the rest of the board.
Yeah. A game centered around clay is going to be messy. So that's my 76, folks. Dixit.
Number 75.
Number 5 is a train game, and this is also new to the list this year.
A train game.
And it's
Oh, it's that Z-Man game, isn't it?
yes,
You really like that one. What's that called? I
Yes.
still have not played that.
not second, but
Why first? No. Why
Third.
second?
Third Rock from the Sun.
The fifth element.
first class.
First class. Oh, first class. Yes.
The way we always travel.
Yeah, right.
Of course.
First Class was one of the games where I looked at it, I was like, okay, man, another train game.
This is crazy that this.
I would never have expected. Well, I know he likes it.
No,
'cause
I
you
really enjoyed this one, and the reason I enjoyed it because it comes with modules that are built into the game, and you can choose which modules you're going to use, and each different combination of modules changes the game, makes it play just a little bit differently.
I'm a big fan
so
of
it's
that.
almost like you have multiple games in the same box.
Like 504.
No, because aesthetic
The
appeal
combo.
for all those pieces is also very good as well.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so no, I really enjoyed First Class. I liked how the difficulty could ramp up. You could play just the basic modules, and it's a very simple game to play, easy to learn. You can use the I think it's modules D and E, which are the later ones, and oh boy, that's a little bit more of a brain burner. So the difficulty ramps up with the different combinations
When you
of
get
modules.
to Y and Z.
I really no.
that's
It
on
just goes.
5.
It just goes up. They have like I think 5 modules. It goes up to E.
That was a joke.
It's a bad joke.
That's
Anyway,
probably true.
I really enjoyed this game a lot, and it has a great appeal. And my first time playing it was actually with a German edition, which was a very big pain in the butt because we couldn't understand any of the rules. We had to ask people that were walking around. Was at the gathering. We had to ask people who had already played it. Well, what does this do, and how does this do it?
And you still liked it. That's crazy.
No, we did. We eventually, downloaded from the Geek. We downloaded the English version with one of our phones, but that's usually a last resort for me. But that's my number 75, First Class.
My 75 might be second class. But it's not. It's Babel. That's right. Spelled like that, but not. Babel is a 2-player card game, which has been around for, quite a while now. And the more I guess these days, what I'm trying to say is that I think this is my favorite Uwe Rosenberg game.
Oh, wow.
You just made like people's heads explode.
I know, right? Well, I used to like his stuff, and then at one point he sort of started making these big, grandiose Euro games, which are not really, up my alley normally. But Babel is a very clever card design that is very interesting to play. It's very fun. It's very engaging, and it's also extremely mean.
It's the total opposite of a cooperative game.
It really
Which is why it's his favorite UA Rosenberg.
Yeah, and it's a game that you just have to go into it knowing that that's the style of game you're gonna get. You're gonna get picked on as much as you're gonna pick on the other player. It's only a 2-player game, so you're not gonna be able to pick who you hit. You hit your opponent. That's it. But the card play, the interesting powers, the idea that you want to be careful hoarding your cards. I know you definitely want to be
Shut up,
hoarding your
man.
cards because you could have a power that makes you get rid of half your hand. Every power in the game is sort of like that. It's a big sweeping hit.
You could take all the cards and throw them in the other person's face, and that'd probably be less mean than what happens in the game.
That's
Wow.
true. So, Babel is a game that I still have in my collection, and I am happy I do. That is 75 from Uwe Rosenberg. And it's got a co-designer, but I forget who it is.
My 75 is a game that plays between 2 and 4. I think it really scales well, but I don't know if I might like it best with fewer players because it goes faster, and that's Seasons. Seasons is a game that's probably done now. It came out with 2 expansions with extra cards, and that's fine. It's a nice, contained game that has a little bit of a feel of a collectible card game to me to some degree. You're getting these cards, you roll dice, you draft the dice, they'll give you resources, and then you play these cards, and you're trying to build combos, which is why if I play it now, we're playing with the drafting.
Right.
So at the beginning of the game, you can try to draft cards that will combo off each other. You're constantly hitting the other person and messing with the other players, but also trying to build up your own thing. I really like this game. It's beautiful. That universe, which they've made, 2 or 3 games in,
3, I guess, yeah.
this is the best one from that universe, and I just really like it. It plays fairly quickly, although it has that opportunity. There's some people that never get to play Seasons with me, because if you sit there and go, you're done, next player, because you could really AP it out if you want to. But if you don't, I think it's a really fun game. Seasons.
Number 70. Number 74.
My number 74 is a game that may have fallen off the list if not for having received 2 awesome expansions this year.
2 expansions this year.
That really
Oh,
that were kind of
Twilight Imperium 30.
no. What is it?
Champions of Midgard.
Champions of Midgard.
Oh, that's right. Those expansions are like,
Exactly. I mean, I probably would have discluded the game from my list this year because I really don't play Champions of Midgard that often. But it has still replaced what is that D&D game?
Lords of Waterdeep?
Lords of Waterdeep.
Yeah.
It's replaced Lords of Waterdeep. It's not exactly the same. I know. Be quiet, people.
Preemptively telling them,
Yes,
shut
exactly.
your trap.
But it fires on some of the same cylinders enough to where I would rather play this one than that one. Yeah, I'm a sucker for the Viking theme, which again is loosely applied to this one. But the 2 expansions really kind of brought it back into the limelight, gave you more choices, better choices in some respects to playing the game, gave you a kind of a way of clawing back after getting pummeled in one of the battles, because you can use those dead people your dead warriors and what have you to do different things with those expansions. So I really enjoy the game, and it's holding on at 74. Champions of Midgard.
Cool. Good choice. My 74 is new to the list this year, but it is not a new game at all. In fact, I think it's like 7 or 8 years old. I play it at every convention these days, it seems. I'm taking it with me. I have the weirdest version of the game in existence, and that is
boy.
what?
Faces.
No, this is that little racing
The
Japanese
stupid-
game.
No,
What is that called?
no, it's not. It's
Oh,
Tumbling Dice.
Tumbling
Dice.
Tumbling Dice.
The more I play Tumbling Dice, I mean,
You
yes.
haven't had it in your top 100 before?
No, but the fact is yes, it is nothing. You are rolling dice and seeing how many points you get, right?
Right.
But it's so much fun. I have to put my list is based on just fun.
Isn't the base game just 6-siders?
Yeah,
Okay.
but it's still fun, right?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
still fun. It's not that hard to add other dice to it, but the whole concept of rolling the dice, and we played a really fun version. We played it every single one of our 24-hour marathons, and we broke the board this time.
Oh,
I don't know about
It was-
we. We didn't break
we
the
did
board. No, we did not.
You're all going down
We're
with
all
me.
together.
No, somebody else did that.
But I just really find the game fun. When I teach it to people, it works well in so many ages. You know, you can see kids playing against adults. You can have really good skill and still a lucky throw. That's what you were mentioning before about Ice Cool. Same thing, right? That one time where it bounces off everything.
Yeah.
I just like it. So tumbling dice.
Nice. All right, my 74. Hey, would you look at that? It's another abstract game. That's weird.
Not for you, it isn't.
It is not weird. This is also a very new game. It is also in that series of Chris Berm, Devon.
Oh, is this the one that just came out?
This is the one that just came out. Yes, it's called Link, and it's spelled weird. Just look down there to see how it's spelled. And this is one.
L-Y-N-G-K.
Yes,
Correct.
it is.
He's reading the screen.
Sam's reading it right now. It's on his list. That's the thing. It's coming up. This one is the designer had made all the other ones, and the last one that got made was quite a few years ago. I want to say 10 years ago.
It was a pretty long
It was
time
a while
yeah.
ago. And so when this game got announced, I'm a big fan of all the other ones. I was psyched. These guys will tell you. I was like
Slightly. It's like, is the
really-
game here yet? Like, Zeke,
like
hang on, it's coming in the
ridiculously
mail.
psyched, you know, for a game that is just like Sam keeps saying, it's just an abstract game. They are pretty, but there's no scope on the table you're looking at going, oh, I cannot wait to play with these pieces, you know. And the first time I played it, I was like, okay, kind of interesting, kind of clever. The more I've played this one, the better it gets, and that's usually kind of a true statement anyway for abstract games. They tend to take a while for you to sort of figure out how to manipulate all the mechanisms well. But man, this game is really good. It is one that this is like a joke, but it adds color to the series. As in, like, there's not just black and white pieces. I know, it's like, you know, now with flavor, you know, it's one of those things. So,
Technicolor.
what? But it utilizes the idea of having different colors on the board in a very clever way, in which each player does not actually own a color at the beginning of the game. You will claim colors as you play, and when you do that is the big twist. So,
Little known fact, Chris Berm actually fell asleep playing one of his other games and woke up 10 years later thinking it was the next day and designed this.
Okay, I cannot wait for the next one 10 years from now then. That is Link 74.
Number 73.
All right, my number 73 is another Commands and Colors game. I already mentioned Memoir 44. This one is the second one that's in my top 100, and this one is Commands and Colors Ancients. That's in the name itself. I really like this system a lot with 3 games in my top 100. This one I like slightly better than Memoir. I know we disagree on this one a lot, actually. But I really, because you like the miniatures for one.
This is my least favorite.
I like this one because I feel like it's the most historically accurate with the battles, but I also feel like it really emphasizes like hold the line. You know, you have these lines that move, and you get bonuses
a
if
good
you're
game.
next to other people, huh?
Also a good game.
Hold the line, I don't know what that is.
Right. So you hold the line, and it has elephants, and I don't know. I really enjoyed it. They made a lot of expansions for it. It is one of the most annoying games to open up and put together because there is a gazillion
One of the reasons
stickers.
why it's my least favorite.
But I don't. Once they're together, you don't got to do it again.
No,
Yeah,
you're supposed to take
once
them
they're
off.
together-
You have to take them off the store.
And then put them back and
I
store
watched
it.
the Lord of the Rings trilogy. Why?
Oh my
Stickers not-
goodness gracious.
But it's,
There is not a whole lot of deception in that statement.
I really did watch movies while putting them together because it's really long. But I really enjoy the game still. I think it's a nice, it just has this sweeping, see the armies clash up against each other. That's a lot of fun. Commands and Colors Ancients.
Cool. All right.
Abstract.
It is not an abstract game. It's a game that unfortunately has kind of flown under the radar. This is if I'm not mistaken, this is originally it's a Russian design.
Hobby World.
It is Hobby World. They got picked up here by, I want to say Mayday, right? And this is Viceroy.
They had a pretty big Kickstarter. That was a pretty solid
Yeah,
Kickstarter.
and it's a great game. It's one that I remember I played with you the very first time. I liked the artwork, so that kind of pulled me in. But then as we were playing, this idea of building out the characters depending on what level you've built them, you're sort of creating this pyramid on the table. Depending on where they've been built, you get a power. So, the power changes depending where the character was laid on the table. And then you're also sort of going for a little pattern-making side game, if you would. Man, it's a really engaging game. I've enjoyed it a lot. I've kept it for a long time. It's one that I'm always happy to play. But it seems like it's sort of flown under the radar.
I think part of it doesn't work as well with more players.
That's true. It doesn't necessarily scale very well because of the head-to-head simultaneous bidding. So I usually do end up playing a 2-player, but 3 is also alright. And then more than that, yeah, you're right. But I really enjoy it. So if you've never heard of it, haven't checked it out, and you like the whole characters with powers thing, check this one out. That's Viceroy, my 73.
That is a good game.
Yeah.
My number 73 is one of the other new additions to the list, and it is put out by Cool Mini or Not, or CMON as they like to be called now.
Blood Rage.
That's funny. That didn't make my list this year.
It didn't?
No, this one is a newer than Blood Rage. It is The Godfather, Corleone's Empire. I really do enjoy the game. It is not as thematically involved as I would have liked the game to have been. Not that I'm a huge fan of the IP, but I would have liked it if it would have had a little bit more...
Gunpoint.
No, there's plenty of people dying in this game, and so that's. I don't know why it's not higher on my list. I guess I'll put it there.
It's still in your top 100. That's a really big thing, though.
Yeah, it is. But I was expecting it to be higher, and it just didn't work out that way as I was making the list.
I would assume that
It
it's
kept
not
slipping
higher.
and slipping and slipping.
If I had to guess, I would say it's this at this place on your list for the same reason it's not on my list, and that is because A, of the theme, neither you nor I really care for that theme,
True, yeah.
and B, Blood Rage exists. And they're sort of
I
similar-ish.
guess.
I remember the first time I played, I was like, and again, this might have changed since, it changed a
think
little
it
bit
did.
since then, but it's got a similar vibe. With the cadence of the game is similar to me. The cards, they're using them for
There's
powers,
just so many
the
differences,
rounds,
though.
you know?
Combat is different. The effects of combat are different.
Yeah, but
There's a whole lot of different things that happen. In
I
the
would just
game.
never see myself picking this over Blood
I guess
Rage.
I don't make the same connection that you do
Yeah.
with Blood Rage, but I still do enjoy the game. It's just not. It baffles me why it isn't better, isn't higher on the list. But hey, number 73 is still good, yeah, as he says. The Godfather, Corleone's Empire.
Number 72.
All right, my 72 has been featured already in this chunk of top 10s by Mr. Vassal, and that is
Seasons.
I don't actually like Seasons.
Oh,
that much.
Onitama.
Onitama, it is.
Another
Onitama,
abstract game.
You don't like Seasons.
not particularly. It's one of those that just never grabbed me, and it has
That's why he lives in Florida.
It has every right to do so. That's the thing. It's pretty. It's fairly simple, but I don't know what it is. It just never did. But Onitama did. Onitama, the very first time I played with Tom as well. And man, we were right away. We were like, okay, we got to do this again. And then we did it again.
Yeah.
And it's just it has that. It just has that appeal of potato chips. It's like I just want more. Because it's so quick. It's clever. It's very simple to set up, simple to play, but engaging. It gets your brain going, And I love the fact that the board is so tight that basically from the second turn on, like from the very second play on, you need to be careful, or you will give your opponent the chance to wipe you out. And I like the ability of winning by clearing all their characters off the table or getting your whatever he is, the big guy. To your
Sensei.
the sensei over to your opponent's home space, starting space, and I've seen both ways happen, both victory conditions achieved. It's just fun. It's clever, and of course, the edition that's out now from Arcane Wonders is extremely gorgeous. It's very well made. So Onitama, it's been a loaded.
Remember the first time I
this
played
chunk
that
of top
game?
tens is quite heavy on the abstracts for me.
Yeah. First time I played that game, I whooped Jason at it.
That must have felt
At
really
Longhorn
good.
Steakhouse.
Never forgotten it.
And I've never let Jason forget it either.
That's nice.
I still remember that moment. It's like it was like a shining star.
Shining star for you to see.
What's your 72?
My number 72 has already been mentioned in this.
Oh man, this is getting
It has to be me
crazy.
because that would be the
By
last crossover.
him.
What? No, I am freaking out.
Hive.
No.
Dixit? I
No.
hate that
Dixit.
game. Yeah, Viceroy? No way.
No.
Queen Domino.
Yes.
No, you both but Queen Domino.
Yeah!
Wow.
That's
Yeah,
right.
Queen Domino. And again,
You just sold 100 copies of
King
it.
Domino would not have made my list. It
King
simply
Domino
would
would make my
not.
top 1,000.
It simply would not have made my list, and I don't want to be snooty by saying this, but because King Domino is simply just too simple.
It's below me.
No, it's not that. It's just that it's too simple. It's for me to include on the list, I guess. I mean, I know I just put Ice Cool on my list, but I put it on my list because I enjoy playing it with my kids. My kids would not enjoy King Domino, so I'm back. I'm back.
I'm back, man.
Fine, you don't need
So,
to justify
Queen-
You
yourself.
really do. It's the internet.
Queen
you really do.
Domino. I know you got to provide caveats. You got to do this.
tell 'em to shut their traps and
justifications,
such.
Shut up. Don't even say anything. You know that kind of stuff. But Queen Domino adds enough that it doesn't feel more complex, and yet it is.
Yes.
There are more
Yes.
choices to make, but those choices do not overcomplicate the game and make it itself more difficult. It's still simply making these areas around your castle. But what you can do with those different areas is now added to that. It's another layer of something.
Interest, basically.
Yeah, that King Domino just lacks. So I really enjoy the game. Have a lot of fun playing it.
That's interesting. I did
so
not realize
that's
you had liked it that much.
Queen Domino. I liked it sounds better than King Domino, and so I really do enjoy it. My number 72, Queen Domino.
This is amazing. I mean, I knew we'd have crossovers in our top 100, but that's 3 crossovers in the same 10.
Yeah,
Wow,
that is weird.
on my next game, I'm just gonna
I
make
mean,
up a title.
when he said Queen Domino and then Scythe, I was like, did he look at my stuff over here?
Guess what? We're not done yet. Mine's a crossover with Sam in this top 10.
Oh,
no
dang.
way! What?
Which one?
I'm freaking out, man. What's he got over
That
there?
one.
No,
What's that
it's,
say?
it is.
That one.
It is Godfather.
Oh, really?
Oh,
Yes.
Wow.
And
thought those would be higher
they were
on your
one
list.
apart, 73,
Yeah, yeah,
72.
wow.
But here's the thing. Again, that's why I was saying it during yours, because I was going to say it during mine anyway. It's really high up. Some people watch our review and they said, I don't think they liked it very much. I love this game. It's in my top 75. It's really fun. The miniatures are great. It's really mean. And I actually agree with you. It feels like the Euro version of Blood Rage.
Right.
That's so. They're different. There's a lot of different ways, but they're still controlling territories and killing the other people. But you don't. Dying in Godfather isn't really a benefit. It is in Blood
Oh,
Rage.
it's not.
Right.
But I don't know. I get into the theme. I don't care about the Godfather part, but it does feel like a gangster game.
Yeah,
And I'm a
mafia
big
game.
gangster. I tend to like that theme a lot. Not
I'm
a
a
big.
big gangster. He just said that.
Sorry, let me read
I'm gonna cut that out. I'm gonna put it at the end, man. I'm a big gangster, and I need a big salad.
I do want a big salad. But anyhow, Godfather, this series, I guess, that Eric Lang is doing with these, where he's taking these games and making these big grandiose versions, is really working for me. I'm sure that eventually one will come across that I'm not as big of a fan of. But
Right.
so far, really loving them. And The Godfather, just really enjoy it. So, Godfather Corleone's Empire, my number 72.
Number 71.
Is it another crossover?
No. My number 71 is.
You don't know that yet.
Well, that's possible. It could be, I guess. Possibly. But my number 71 is a game that I have played a lot over the past, I don't know, ever since it came out, Power Grid, 10, 15 years ago?
Yeah, it's been a while. 2004.
I'm still amazed that this makes your top hundreds and lists and stuff.
No, I mean, it's
This is
really.
one of the, it's a weird.
It's the one
pick.
that's out of camp for me, I guess you
Right.
could say.
No kidding.
It is a heavy mathematical Euro.
Right.
But I really enjoy the aesthetic of the board and connecting all of my cities, making them all power up, making sure that that's done. That's probably why I fail so much at the game more often than not.
Because you're having fun just building the whole thing.
Yeah, I'm having fun building my network.
Right.
But then I want to try to make sure everything's powered at the same time. And
So you care about the people.
yeah, I care about making sure people have electricity.
I'm just there for the money.
Well, you guys that's funny that you guys say that, because I do think that the reason, I like that a lot too. I think the reason that it's liked by people who normally wouldn't like it is because there is so much going on. You can choose to say, man, I love the map stuff in this game.
Right.
Oh, I love the market, you know, which no one should say. I love the managing the money, the bidding, you know what I mean? There's
Yeah.
a lot going on, and so you can gravitate
kind of
towards
pick
that
and
one
choose
thing.
what you want, yeah.
And you sort of enjoy the rest too, but that's the thing that draws you in.
Yeah.
So I agree with you.
It's my number 71, Power Grid.
I'm sure my 71 will be a crossover on Sam's list at some point because he loves this game. So do I, and that is Colosseum. Colosseum, they just came out with a new version from Tasty Minstrel, which I think you like the older one slightly better version, right?
Aesthetically, yes.
Aesthetically, right? And
It's generally the same.
the rules are pretty much the same game. So and the new one, had you never seen the old one, looks great, right? It's a
Right.
great. I mean, except the cover. I hate the cover, but Colosseum is a game that almost gives off false vibes. You were talking about Scythe earlier, where you think, hey, it's a war game. Colosseum, you're like, all right, let's get my gladiator. No, there's not gladiator. It's
You're managing
basically
a theater, basically.
Yes.
in fact, there's more similarities to Shakespeare, actually, where you
That's
talked
right.
earlier. You're
That's
putting
right.
on shows, and you're getting the actors and the animals and the horses, and they're going to die in
Rubbery.
the shrubbery.
Shrubbery.
It's a fantastically fun game. This is one that I'm still mind-boggled does not get more love. It's fun. It scales well. It
Out
has
of
it.
print for a very long time.
Yeah, but it was out of print because it was one of the few Days of Wonders games that did not do that well, and that always boggled me in my mind. Maybe it was too heavy or whatever, but it has a neat mechanism where you score 5 times over the game, and your highest score is the one that matters. Now it's probably the fifth one, but it might not be, and I think that's a neat thing. Colosseum,
Well, speaking of Days of Wonders games that did not do that well,
Relic Runner.
Cleopatra.
Relic Runners it is. Relic Runners is, once again, a gorgeous game.
Yeah, it is.
It has these talismans or relics or whatever. You know, they are gorgeous. It is. They're plastic pieces, but they have
Luminescent.
see-through parts, and they have a transparency to them in certain spots. It is a stunning game. But besides all that, I really enjoy the game. I know it did not get a lot of love. It's sort of a pick up and deliver route building game with quite a bit going on in it. It doesn't look like there's a lot happening, but then you have your own little player board in which you can develop sort of special powers you can trigger whenever you find convenient. And you're running around the jungle, laying down paths, gathering temples and grabbing special powers. Eventually, those relics start to pop up on the board, and that's when people walking by will be like, "Ooh, what are you doing?" And you try to gather those up as well. I just played this a few months ago, let's say, I don't know, 5 months ago. And it's still great, and everybody around the table really enjoyed it. It's just a fun game. That's why it had to be on my list. It's one that I wish would have gotten maybe a little more, I don't know if recognition is the right word, but for some reason it does not get the attention I think it ought to. But that's okay because I have my copy and I don't care. So shut your trap, as Sam says. Relic Runners.
How many times do we tell people to shut up in this one?
Relic Runners is my 71. If you've never played it, check it out. That's it.
Got to be preemptive.
Tell us what your 71 to 80 is in the comments.
Don't you dare disagree with ours!
Someone will do that.
Yeah.
Hey, hey, we're getting somewhere. We're getting somewhere. So thank you guys for watching. Keep coming back. We'll finish our top 100 this year, we hope.
That will happen.
Until next time, I'm Tom Vasil.
I'm Z Garcia. Thank you, everybody.
Sam Healy. See you on the flip side, folks.
Some say that Tom is like a giant among men. Others say he's a little obsessed.
I don't even have a top 10.
Tom Vasil's top 100 games of all time.
Z's got flavor in his top 100 games. Z Garcia, voice of the people.
And I'm a big gangster.
Garcia, voice of the